Hi there. I wanted to show in this video how to develop a 4D schedule simulation using Synchro in an efficient way. And I'll stress on efficiency here because you don't want to spend your whole life just developing a simulation for a single project. So you need to know, be efficient in how you select the model elements or resources, how you assign them. So let's jump in and start right away. So first thing, this is the interface. I assume that before you watch the video that you know how to navigate through Synchro. You download and watch a lot of tutorials online to know how you can what every kind of click is doing. But this video here is just focusing on hints on how you make yourself efficient. So if you go now to upload the model, and the model I have is an IFC model. I go here, and this is the one. And then you say next, import. And then you can see here that it imported 997 resources or elements, and that's a lot. And you want to make sure that every one of these is assigned to one of the schedule activities that you'll create. So efficiency here is a big success factor, you can say. If I say finish, and that's here the model, you don't have to deal with the schedule now, so I want to focus on the model. How to scroll, how you zoom in. You zoom in with the scroll. You will pan by clicking on the mouse wheel. So you pan, and if you click anywhere, the left click on here, that will be the rotation of the model. So you can just change the orientation of your view by clicking and holding on the left click. Pan is the wheel, hold it and move. And then the wheel scroll will be zoom in and out. So now I have, this is the structural system of a building. I have piles, I have structure columns and beams, I have foundation walls, I have shaft walls, and then I have slabs, and these are kind of composite slabs, so it's concrete on a metal deck. So it's very simple. It looks like very simple, but it has 997 elements, or resources. So you have to be again efficient in selecting them and organizing them in a way that can be assigned easily to activities. So let's say I wanna assign the piles to an activity. So I will show here my my schedule. Let's call this activity here piling, and let's say this activity will take 14 days. So now I want to assign the piles to the piling activity. So if what I can do is I can click on this, and then or select one pile, and then say select assign resources. And if I expand that, and I can actually check for every resource what type of task it was assigned to, so it's not shown here, but I can go to customize columns. There are a lot of columns here that I don't need. Of course, typically all the all elements of the model are materials, so I don't need to have the type column. I don't need the supplier, I don't need the calendar, and even like the 3D here, maybe I can keep it. It's just the number of 3D elements in there. So what I need to show is useful information. So maybe as a useful information is what type of tasks are assigned to it. So I can show that here. tasks and task ID. Also, I can show some similar, general information if I want. But one thing I want to show also is the level. So user fields. If I go to user fields, and then IFC building story. IFC just the standard that of model information exchange that we use to bring the model into the. So we can use it also here to show specific information of every element. And here this is the information that would be useful for me. It might be different for you, but I need here to check what tasks were assigned for every element. And here, if I look, this pile here was not assigned to a task. That's interesting. Yep, so I didn't assign it yet. Assign selected resources, and you can see here it's now assigned to piling, and that's the ID of the task. So I can do that for every pile and do the same, do that repeat. Select the pile and then say assign selected resources. But that's not efficient, so I need to select all piles and just do it at once. So let's right click here and unassign all resources. You can see it was removed, and then I want to select all these piles. So what I will do, just escape and then press Control and select all of them like that. And you can see they're highlighted here in the navigation, resource navigation tree. Just move around, make sure that all the piles are selected like this. So now they are selected, and then I can do assign selected resources. So this is one way of selecting the resource. Well, another way is escape and then select one, and I can see here that in the navigation tree it's one of a lot of elements that probably they are similar to it. So what you can do is see where is the parent node of this element, and then if I select it, I will select all similar elements. That's another way. But when I navigate kind of or move around in the model, I see that I selected some elements that are not really piles. In the model, they are use the same kind of the pile element or kind of were assigned to this level or this hierarchy IFC slab type, which is not correct. And in construction, there are a lot of issues in modeling. Like you always see an element that was not modeled correctly, but you have to use it if you're going to do the 4D schedule. So now I can unselect these elements that are not piles. So you click on Control, and then I remove that slab element. I remove the pile cap here. I remove this here. Oh, I selected something else by mistake. So I have to unselect it, then unselect the slab. And then I double check again. These are the piles. This is these are all the piles I have. Oh, there's one missing here. Oops, I did one big mistake. Okay, moving all of that. To need this. So that you have to have patience in selecting the piles. But I think the easy one is just selecting them by the view here. And then I will select that missing one there, the hidden one. And there's one here. Okay. So let's say I think I have every pile in the model. Oh, there's one here. Okay. Anyone else hiding? Like it's hide and seek. So now I think I have all the files. So now we want to assign them, but before I assign them to the task, I can actually create a resource and call it, instead of all these confusing names here, I can right click on the anywhere in the 3D view and then say resources wizard, and then I will say assign to a new resource, and then next I'll call this piles. Assign to this resource, don't build a tree, so let's keep that, and then I will unassign these resources here, the ones I selected from the tree I have. And if I say finish, you see they were unassigned from the original tree of the model, and then they were assigned as a new resource that's not part of the tree, which is fine. I'm just trying to organize the model the way I want it to be organized. So now when I click escape, unselect everything, and then when I click on files, I will select the piles, right? And now when I'm selecting them, I can go to piling and then say, you know what, assign these selected resources to this activity, and here you go. So when I now move the time, let's show it here. So they now part of this activity. All right. Now, one thing is, if you think about it, this visualization, the purpose is to make sure that your sequence or schedule sequence makes sense, right? So if I say that this piling activity taking 14 days, probably because I have one piling rig that will do pile by pile. But here it shows that I'm doing all the piles at once. So that's not the right way, right? It should be kind of moving one by one, and that's what we gonna do here. So if I go to let's see here. If I go to Navigator and then Appearance Profiles, it was already shown, but I want to show it here again. So Navigator Appearance Profiles, if I click on it, it will show how the simulation would follow specific profiles. So I have here install, maintain, neutral, remove, temporary. These are the defaults. So I will create a new one, add, and then I will say it's left to right growth. All right. And while I'm selecting that, it's here, it's install, you're installing a new thing, and then the growth simulation, that's the one that we will select here to be left to right. So still it's not effective yet, but if I go to resource, then resource properties, so it's actually not the resource, I'm not dealing with the resource property here to change the appearance. I'm going to the task, the piling task, and then I go to task properties, and here's the piles, and then I change the appearance profile to be left to right growth. So now, of course, it's before the activity, the piles are not done, but when I move here through the time, this is the right sequence, this is the right simulation. So what's the point of creating a simulation that's not representative of what's happening on the site? You want to check the constructability of your schedule, and that makes more sense. So you're doing piles one by one, or kind of one from one side of the project to the other. So that's kind of how to do things efficiently in Synchro. You group activities. There's another way to group the resources, by the way. I'm not showing it here, But one way is, I showed one way, which is using the resource wizard, and then assigning it to activity, and then creating an appearance profile for the specific growth I wanted to follow. Another thing I wanted also to show is that sometimes, like I said, the model is created in a hurry, and it's not really representative of how things are constructed in reality. So for example, this wall here, this concrete wall here is huge. It's like 3-story high, and you cannot construct it at once like that. So if I created an activity here called the wall, I'll call it here wall construction, and that's probably like, it includes the formwork, rebar, and concrete, and that will be for a single floor. So I want here to make it for if we think about it, this is the first floor. This is the basement, actually. Is it? Let's see. No, that's back here. Probably it's the topology comes from here to here. So if I call this is the first floor, then this is the second, third, fourth. So this means this wall here covers the second, the third, and the fourth floor. So I will start here, wall construction, the second floor, and then copy. If I make this now if it includes formwork, rebar, and concrete, that will be, let's set it to be 7 days. So that's 7 days, and if I copy this activity, and it's the third floor, and then wall construction, fourth floor, and that also will be 7. All right, and let's say I do the piling. Oops. So if I select all these activities just to make them kind of a chain, so link as a chain here, and then do the reschedule, that's fine, reschedule here. So now this is kind of the activities. So now if I want to split this wall here over these 3 activities, because that makes more sense, now what I will do is I will go to 3D while selecting on that, and then say subdivide. So subdivide will open this window here that shows me the wall, and I want to split it into 3 walls. So the way that you do this is, it depends on the columns, rows, and layers, the orientation of the element, but typically layers are the vertical splits that you want to make. So if you see here, if I do 1 layer, so it split it here in the middle. So if I do 2, now it splits it into 3. I want to keep it kind of equal splits. It doesn't have to match exactly, but it just for the sake of simulation here. And then when I close and I select, now it's split into 3 parts. So what happens is I can select that or other walls in the same floor, and I say assigned resources. But before I do that, let's check how it looks like here. So if I do Control Z run, so this one is now still I did an undo. So this wall here, let's check I didn't undo too much. Okay, so this wall here is still 1 element, and you can see it here. Now if I do the subdivide and I do 3 layers, or 2 layers, I'm sorry, this means like 3 parts. Now you can see here, If I select it now, there is subdivisions within, and every subdivision will be a resource that I can allocate separately to an activity. So now if I select the first floor one, second floor one, and assign it to this activity, assign selected resources, and then do the same here, and that will be the third floor, assign selected resources. You can see they're disappearing because my timeline is before these activities. And then do this for the fourth floor, and then do the assign selected resources, and you say they're disappearing. So now if I zoom out of the model and kind of simulate here what's happening, so you see the piles are done. I'm not doing all the model, but just showing here. So you see here, that's the first wall, second, and the third part of it. Now I can change the growth appearance, or the appearance profile to be different. Like the wall here is actually built probably, just by once it shows up. It doesn't go like that, but it's up to you if you want to model this way. It's more fancy this way. But for the piles, it's actually very critical to show it, the direction of installation of the piles or construction of the piles. So I think they showed here the hints I wanted to show for the project here of the course. The first thing is try to be efficient in selecting the resources. I showed you how to select from the 3D view or from the tree of the resources, the navigation tree. You can create kind of a grouped entity or resource for multiple resources that will change the navigation tree, but that's fine because it will make your life easier understanding the resources in the model or the elements and assigning them to activities. Also, I showed you how to split or what we call subdivide in Synchro the elements, and we showed here this wall was one part. You can apply the same for the example of this column. It's huge, you can't transport that to the side, so you have to split it at least into two parts, because steel columns you can install them in 2 stories, sometimes 3 stories. 4 is too much, so you need to split that. So if I show you here quickly subdivide, and I can split that into a layer, now you can decide I can actually split it not in the middle. I can move it. Sorry, let's cancel that, and then I have a layer. And then you can manipulate here. Let's see, the freehand. Nope. User slice. Yep. So you can, if you select user slice, you can move the slice up and down. I'm not sure if you can see it, but this line here and this arrow, I'm moving the slice up and down, so I can decide on how I'm gonna split this column. Will it be like 2-story, like in the middle splice, or I want to make it a 3-story column, and then there's 1-story column on top. So you can do that. I can also kind of I don't know where exactly should be the split. It should be somewhere here. So if I close and then unselect that, let's see here. So now I split it for the first 3 stories. Typically it goes above the slab. So this means I need to go back to the subdivide, select the whole column here, and then move it a little up, close, unselect, and now I see it's a little up, so that element here will come by itself. This as a second installation of the column, and the first installation of the column will be this. So, but typically, it depends on the project, but you can have it 2-story segments. Or in some cases 3-story segment. That will be a little long. All right, so hopefully this video will be helpful for you for your project, and if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks, take care.